Hello and welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse and tonight's performance of The Prisoner's Dilemma. I'm T A Newman, your host and keeper of Arcane lore for tonight's performance. My team and I will be bringing to life adventures using the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which contains mature themes, cosmic horror, character death and loss of sanity. Our mystery can be found in the Miskatonic repository, where people like you and me can write a scenario for others to play. We'd also like to thank Sirenscape, whose tools have helped provide the background sound that you hear. Our investigators travel to Dartmoor Prison on the promise of information from an inmate which would lead to the acquisition of an expensive painting. But little did they know, each of them had received the same letter. Greeted by the strict and less than hospitable guards, they wait in the visitor's room and discover the scam. But in the room, other paintings catch their eye. And now it's time to pull back the curtain and roll the dice. The stage is mine. And as you see this, Eleanor, you see that singular beast has moved closer, but not so close that it's against the frame. But you can see now that this is like a dog or a wolf or something like that, but there's something unusual about its shape. You can't quite pin down what it is. You can't see fur. You almost see a ripple, almost like liquid.
Can she take the painting off from the wall and just kind of stare at it at different angles?
You can, indeed. You pick up the painting. And actually, when you pick up the painting this time, you see that there's a little silver plaque on the bottom of the painting. Just because obviously you're taking much more note of it at this moment. And you see that the painting, the little plaque just says Dartmoor Summer Scene, donated by the Obsidian Foundation, is what it says. And you hold up this painting, and almost like one of the 3D cards that we all grew up with from a free magazine and whatnot, you'd kind of turn it like this, and you're looking at this image, and the entire image moves except the head of the dog. It stays still, its eyes locked onto you. And as you see, as you move it, there is this liquidness to this dog. But what you actually get as well as this dog's looking at you, this liquid, you see it moving around the dog, and there's bits of it that drip off onto the floor.
Shall I make a sanity roll at this point?
Well, just as that happens, there is, for the rest of you, a scream from somewhere inside Prison Ward E. Eleanor, you do not hear a scream. You hear a blood-curdling howl. I would like a sanity roll from Eleanor, please.
That's fair.
And everybody else, you hear a scream.
Okay.
Look at me fail every single roll I've made.
Hey, these are the kind of players we like. What an investigator. Okay, I'm going to ask you to give me a 1d4, please.
Okay. D4. 4? How surprising.
Wow. Okay. With that 4, you are shocked. There is a physical reaction. You drop the well, actually, no, you tell me. I'm sorry. You tell me, Eleanor, what happens in this moment? And it's something that the rest of the group are going to be aware of. But what happens to you in this moment, Eleanor?
I think she's definitely... I think she has experience of the supernatural and of the occult. So she wouldn't necessarily want to avoid it, but also she'd be scared at the same time. So I think there's only one door to this place, and it's towards the scream, right?
Yeah.
So she can't run away from it.
There's only one door in the visitors' room. At the other end of the room is another painting. Your compatriots are in the middle surrounding a coffee table. The only door is the one you came in through, which leads into the bigger corridor of prison wardie.
Okay. So I think she's gonna grab the other. How large are the paintings? Can she like put them under?
They're rather
They're
large.
quite large. Okay.
I would say, yeah, you're looking at something that's probably, this is lack of measurement knowledge here. I'd say
Just yay big. Just that's fine with me.
probably about A2. Quite a big
Okay.
piece, and it's got a big, reasonably big frame on it. Heavy enough that when you pick it up, you had to actually hold it up. It wasn't just like a casual thing.
I think she's going to get scared but very excited. She's going to show everyone the painting and then run out of the room with it.
Okay. Eleanor, in her momentary madness, runs at you all, bringing this painting, running at you, and she shows you this beautiful summer scene of the moors. And that's exactly what it is. A beautiful summer scene of the moors.
We don't see anything.
There's nothing to see. It's a beautiful summer scene of the moors.
Oh, I like your style, miss, but I don't think pinching a painting from Dartmoor Prison is going to make up for the Blake that we're not going to get from Mr. Wise. I mean, give it a try.
Don't you see? Don't you see the man, the dog, and the howl? Did you not hear it?
Oh, there's a Hound of the Baskervilles one on t'other wall as well.
Did they move? Did they move for you as well? Did they move?
Oh no,
because
I just had someone in my eye when I was looking at it.
Trust your eyes.
You hear a door slam out in the corridor really loudly, like a whoosh.
I'm going to grab my letter and go outside of the door.
Oh, you best stay in here just in case you got some trouble on the landing.
I'd let the authorities deal with whatever's going on out there.
Did you not hear the howl? There's a wolf.
A howl?
No, that was a scream, my dear. Probably one of the inmates kicking off.
Well, young miss, I think you've misheard a few things.
Are you quite well, madam?
I understand that your eyes and ears have been closed for a long time, but I can sense this kind of thing. Excuse me while I go and have a look, but I'm taking this with me. You can have the other one.
The painting.
Okay, just explain you're acting by yourself. We're not stealing it with you. You're acting by yourself.
I really wouldn't, madam.
Miss, if you want, I'll, as an officer, I'll go and check what the scream was. If everybody just stays here, stay calm.
Tommy's already out the door.
Yeah.
I'm out of the door as well.
Okay.
So Eleanor, are you going to look at the other painting, or are you going out the door?
No, I'm leaving the other painting. One is good enough. It's probably the same.
Okay, so Tommy goes out of the room.
Yeah.
Eleanor's walking out of the room. At which point, D.I. Martin Wells does the right thing and turns to the remaining two people and says, "If everybody stays here and stays calm."
Sorry.
Yeah. No, the rest of them, so I can go out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go and check.
So at the moment, we've got Tommy walking out, Eleanor with some manic excitement, but clearly there is a twinkle in her eye, which is not a comfortable one, and a rather wide smile, which is almost too forced, as she kind of walks out the room with this painting, which is quite hard to carry. And then D.I. Martin Wells walks out as well. Captain, Doctor, are you going to follow, or are you staying put?
Staying put.
Yes, I think staying put.
Okay.
I'm going to show the captain this rather lovely picture of the Hound of the Baskervilles and see if they think it is worth stealing.
What is going on out there?
I have really no idea, but I mean, I take it a good man such as yourself has not been in prison before, but I have had the occasional prisoner into my surgery to be treated for maladies of the mind, and we're not as backward as we used to be, but it really is best to leave the screws, as they call them, leave it up to them. But as I say, this painting over here is rather lovely. If you want to take a look. Do you think it's the Hound of the Baskervilles? I wasn't too sure myself.
Captain, just as the doctor's saying this to you, and he's talking about this malady of patients and, the mental state, and he's had a few in, there's no hound in this painting. It's just a weather-torn Dartmoor.
I'm not quite sure what you mean, Doctor. Hound?
Oh, I need to get my eyes tested.
And it's gone, Doctor. It's gone when you look at it.
And he's going to scratch his chin and point very, very, very perturbed, actually. Kind of like he thought his eyesight's maybe going, but not that bad. So he's a little bit suspicious.
Whilst this going on, Tommy left the room quite quickly. So, Tommy, you walk out of the room and you walk into a rather large, long corridor. And as you go through that corridor, what you're actually seeing is a number of rooms. Eleanor, you are very, very quickly behind. And D.I. Martin Wells, you again, you kind of see this, but you see Tommy, this large figure, kind of walking out first. And Tommy, what did you see? Is you see a few named rooms immediately as you come out. So there's two sides to this. You initially came in to this corridor and went in straight in left to the visitors' room. You see opposite that on the other side of the corridor is the warden's room. Then there's filing and toilets and storage. On your side of the room is the visitors' room. Then there's a closed door, a locked door, which leads to some stairs, or just, it's closed. It's a metal door that's closed. Then you see another door that says hospital. That door is open. And there is possibly a spilt drink or liquid on the floor trailing into that room.
I think that's the destination.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eleanor, Martin, you follow?
Yeah, Eleanor wants to get there quick so that she doesn't miss the transformation from wolf to man.
Okay. Tommy, tell me what you do.
Just a purposeful, strident walk over towards it, tucking the letter back into my pocket. It's been a long time. Somebody brought it to my attention, 45 minutes. Somebody said the word scam, and I'm not up for a scam.
Okay. You march up there, plodding your feet, shoulders kind of swaying as you kind of, you go up there, the door's open, and you get closer and you see that liquid on the floor, that spilled whatever, was recognizable for you, a man who spends a bit of time in the ring. That's a spatter of blood.
It's claret, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
It is indeed.
Right, all right. So that will stop me up short. And I'll look over at, I think I'll look over at D.I. Martin Wells, because I see him as a figure of authority. I will stop and then I'll defer. And I'll look down more.
Okay, this took a slight turn. Young miss, just hold on a second.
She's got a wild look in her eye.
Yeah.
I want to see. I'm not going to hold on a second. What if we miss it?
No. I'm guessing you've walked up, but so I kind of just gestured for them both to stop in the same place so that I can have a little look into the doorway and see where the blood is going.
Okay. You have a look in. You see this dapple, this almost spatter of blood, just around from the main corridor that you're in into this room that says it has hospital in white stenciled on the door. There's a bit of spatter on the door as well. And as you look in, you see a room that has been ravaged. The hospital itself is in a state of disarray, with many medical storage cupboards and drawers being broken, ripped from the walls. There has been clearly a violent altercation. Most of the expected patient beds, privacy curtains and chairs, they've all been destroyed, not just torn down, not just thrown around. I mean, they have been broken down, destroyed, torn apart into the bare minimum that they could be. And you even see that there was a sink ripped from a wall, and there is a small pool of water. The water not running anymore, but beneath the sink there is a stagnant pool of water. You can see the broken pipe. There is, on the far right side of the room, still a hospital curtain intact. You actually see on that far right wall that there is a door. Then there's the hospital curtain, which is in front of that, and you can just see the outline of another door behind that. The blood dapple that leads into the room turns into a trickle that becomes a flood, which seems to pool right beneath that curtain on the other side of the room. Can I ask Tommy, Eleanor, and D.I. Martin Wells to give me a listen roll, please?
Here we go.
Yes.
Oh, a failure of 58 on 55.
Oh, if you could use some luck.
Oh,
if you'd
I
like.
will use some luck. That's a great
It's a sea
idea.
of red on roll 20.
Yeah.
Endless failure.
I will use 3 points
Just
of
so you
luck.
know, I know the guys at Roll20, and I've basically asked them to make everything a failure. It was a request. Okay, so Tommy's going to use some luck, turning a 58 to a 55. Eleanor, what did you roll?
I rolled 90 over 45. I literally don't have enough luck for this. So.
You are staring at your painting, and the sound of the world around you is not important.
I'd also like to, I'm looking around actively for scratch marks and bite marks and stuff. I'm convinced there's a dog man in here somewhere.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to give me a spot hidden roll, please, as I just go to D.I. Martin Wells and ask him what his roll was.
Mine was an 83 over 40, so quite a failure.
And I think
turns out I'm deaf.
It turns out deaf. Yeah, what? Sorry? Yeah, and, as much as you are doing your detective inspector role, you're not on duty and you're in a prison. This is an unusual situation, a circumstance for you. You're with these people that seem to be tied to you in some way or reason as well. I'm just going to go to Tommy first and tell him what he hears before Eleanor coming to you and having a look at a potential spot hidden. Tommy, you kind of look over the DI's shoulder, look in the room. You see the landscape in there. You see the broken furniture, the torn sink, the blood pooling, the two doors, and the curtain covering one with the flood of blood at the bottom. You see that the detective inspector doesn't seem to be picking up on what you're picking up on. He's looking around the room. Maybe there's a shock at the amount of blood or some such. But you're not really interested because the sound that you can hear is as if someone is struggling.
From the curtained off area?
It absolutely 100% unmistakably seems to be coming from behind the curtain. There's this laboured breath.
And I'll take in the landscape of the hospital. I'll look to see if there are any swabs or bandages, and then I'll look to see if there's any, some kind of metal tray for, that you might hold things in. And I'll go from table to table grabbing first aid things, because I have some first aid skill, because I've seen people injured and blood, and I train as a boxer in a gym all the time. I train other people, so in my mind now, there's somebody has been hurt. So I'm grabbing bits off different tables and making my way over towards it.
Okay.
To try and help
Can you give me... so I'm going to ask you for a spot hidden to see what you're able to see in the room to pull together, while I just go over to Eleanor and just see what her spot hidden role was.
Do you have a guess?
Is it a fail?
I like to think that Eleanor is in a state where she has a self-fulfilling thing going on, so she kind of is seeing what she wants to see rather than what is actually there.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I'm interpreting it.
So what were you looking for? Remind me, what were you
looking
looking
for? She's looking for scratch marks and bite marks for
Okay. So I really like that idea, this self-fulfilling prophecy that she's seeing what she's seeing, and it kind of hinders what's there. So, okay, I'm going to tell you what you see in the guise of this self-fulfilling prophecy, because even though it's a fail, I like that turn of narrative on a fail. So what you see is the door itself, the metal door at the bottom and by the handle is dented. As in dented from impact, you think. There are scratch marks around those dents, and you are able to convince yourself that you know where those scratch marks came from. Tommy, just give me your roll quickly before we jump back to the doctor and the captain.
I have failed my spot hidden roll.
Okay. The only things you're able to find are, with this failure, you're not able to find the bandages, the metal tray, anything like that. You actually find things that are relatively potentially useless to you in your endeavor. You find a surgeon's scalpel, but this surgeon's scalpel is used. It has a certain coloration to it, a dried stickiness to it. So I'll allow that to you, whether you pick up said scalpel. And then you actually find a syringe on the floor, and the syringe is full, and the needle is out, and next to it is an empty bottle, and the bottle has a label on it which reads morphine.
That's good.
Okay, and you pick up the. Did you pick up the syringe?
Yep, syringe and morphine. That's good.
Okay. Well, just on that, the last thing, you pick up the morphine, you the bottle, you pick up the syringe. You hear that laboured breath again. D.I. Martin Wells and Eleanor, they are watching you going in and running around and picking up these things. Just jumping back over in a quick scene change over to the doctor and the captain. What are you up to, you two? And those guys have been gone for a good, it feels like 3, 4, 5 minutes almost ticking by. And remember, they did run out at the sound of a scream.
Highly irregular, but I am wondering whether we ought to go and see what's going on. They have been gone a rather long time.
Oh, you don't think they've gone and got clobbered, do you? I mean, they had that, that chappie looks as though he can handle himself. I mean,
This is true, and, utmost faith in the officers of Her Majesty's prison, but...
Mind you, he is the sort of person, no offence to him nor nothing, to lamp one of them prison guards if they don't say the right thing. So perhaps your commanding demeanour might be of a calming influence on him. Did I hear you say captain?
Yes, Captain Richard Harwood. And
pleased to meet you. Dr. Haigler.
Dr. Haigler, well, I'd say it's a pleasure.
Well, yes. I mean, it'd be nice if it was a better place for us to get acquainted. So,
under better circumstances, perhaps.
Very, very true. Very true. After you, then, Captain.
I should tell you, I am still carrying my handgun, and I shouldn't really just leave it unattended here. I know they said for us to put everything in the trays, but there doesn't seem to be anyone here to take delivery. We haven't seen any other prison staff, have we? Nobody's come to pick up the trays, Keeper?
No one has come to pick up the trays. No one has returned. But even on that moment where you talk about your gun not leaving it unattended, something you all hear, but sticking with the captain and the doctor here, you do hear quite loudly an exclamation. And it's a sound that it's difficult to locate exactly where it's coming from, but you think it might be coming from upstairs. And you hear a voice. Quite clearly. Well, there's a bit of a crash. There's a bit of something thrown on the floor. And then you hear a voice just going, "God damn it, Henry! Where is it? Where is it, Henry?" And you all hear that in your respective areas, but we're going to stick with the captain and the doctor for a moment.
The doctor looks at the captain and says, "Well, you know, I don't think anybody would mind if you carry that around. I mean, you know how to use it, and besides, I've got my doctor's bag. Should you shoot the wrong person, you know? So I think we've got all sides covered. So,
Doctor, I do not intend to draw this gun unless in the utmost need.
oh well, it makes a change. Most military men shoot first, ask questions later. In my experience, always sending people casualties to me. But no. By all means, let's take a look and see if we can find out where that bus driver is and get us out of here.
Well, I think we should go and find the others first.
Oh no, yeah. Well, you lead on, Captain. I'll follow.
Very well. And he will lead the way out in pursuit of Eleanor and the others.
You leave the room, Captain. Doctor, you follow. You see this long corridor stretching out before you. You see the stairs leading up to the gantry above. You see that there is, in fact, it's a series of doors, series of stencils. You can see that D.I. Martin and Eleanor are standing outside the hospital door. And you can see that they are standing on what looks like a spatter of blood leading into the room. Can I just ask both the doctor and the captain to give me a spot hidden as you come out of the room?
Sure. See if we can get a 9th fail in a row. Oh.
Oh, I double-clicked accidentally, sorry.
That's okay.
So Dr. Tobias
okay.
Haigler has a success of 29 versus 40 on his spot hidden.
Okay, and Captain?
Well, I have a confession. I double-clicked, so it actually rolled it twice, and one of them's a failure and one of them's a hard success. So keep that. That is, I throw myself upon your mercy.
What was the first roll?
That was a 95 versus 60, which was the failure, and the hard success was 17 versus 60.
Ooh, I want to go with the hard success, but it's just not in me. I'm just not that kind of generous
Very
human
fair.
being. Okay. But you do come out, and you, Captain, you see D.I. Wells, you see Eleanor still holding this painting. Tommy's not there. Tommy's gone, but you can see D.I. Martin Wells looking into this hospital room. And you walk towards them. Doctor, you kind of follow the captain diligently, dutifully, and as you do, you take a moment and you kind of look past the group at the far end of the corridor. The door has been opened. And there's someone standing there.
Ooh.
It's the warden, not Mr. Alexander, the guard, the warden, who held the door open for you as you entered the room, the rather large gentleman who growled.
Dr. Haigler is going to nudge the captain and say, "Oh, look, there's the warden. Maybe we can ask him what's going on."
He seems to be standing still and looking at you at this moment.
Captain, what do you think? What do you think he's doing? Does he look all right to you?
And D.I. Martin Wells, Eleanor, you are there hearing this. You might be transfixed with what's going on in the actual hospital room, but you are able to see this. And Captain, you can now see a little bit into the hospital room, the devastation and the blood.
Something clearly is very wrong here. What has happened?
Good. Has the doctor arrived in the hospital wing?
Sorry, what were you asking, Doctor?
Has the doctor arrived in the hospital wing?
Are you asking me, the keeper, or are you asking one of the investigators?
Well, the doctor saw the figure at the end, and then he pointed that out to the captain.
Yeah.
And then you said the captain had progressed into the room, and the doctor
Or at least can see the captain can at least see into the room the devastation. You're pointing out, saying, "Oh, look, there's the warden," and the captain's kind of caught a glimpse of blood and devastation within there. Whether the captain goes in, that is up to them.
Okay.
Doctor, we might need you here, and I'm just going to gesture towards the blood.
All right, is that yours?
No, we don't know where it's come from. I think we just need to take our time, but have a quick look around.
Oh right. Well, don't miss the warden. He's just up there. Where's the patient? And doctor goes into first aid mode, doctoring mode, and walks in as though he owns the place and
Okay, you walk
sees
in.
what the problem
You
is.
see Tommy standing there with a syringe. You can see it's very obvious that the intended patient is behind the hospital curtain, and you can see the pool of blood, an excessive amount of blood, quite a worrying amount of blood. But you can also hear now, getting closer as well, Doctor. You can hear a
Marvelous. Doctor will look at Tommy and said, "Oh, well done. That's a good start. Might be jumping the gun a bit, but let's have a look." And he swipes the curtain back in a nice, easy medical sort of way to see what the patient is.
Okay. Who's looking at this scene as the doctor? Okay, Tommy, Doctor, Dartmoor Wells, Captain, everybody, everybody.
Could I react to the warden being there?
Eleanor is torn. Yeah, because did they say that the warden is there staring and not helping out, basically?
Yes, the doctor saw him. Well, the doctor saw him and said, "Oh, look, there's the warden."
Yeah.
But if anybody looked, they'd see that the warden is just there, standing, staring at you lot.
Can I, when the doctor says, "Don't miss the warden," I turn around, I see him, and go, "What is going on here?"
And D.I. Martin Wells, you turn. The warden looks at you and takes a few steps forward and says, "You weren't supposed to leave the visiting room. We said we'd come and get you." And he looks like his entire body just goes rigid with, well, whatever you foresee in this moment. For those of you looking at the curtain when the doctor so professionally pulls back the curtain, you're all going to need, in fact, actually, Doctor, you're not going to, because of your nature of who you are and what you do, and you've pulled many a curtain back and seen many a horrible sight. But Tommy and Captain, you are both going to need to make a sanity roll. You see a body, a gentleman, lying on the floor. This individual is wearing what you think, because they are blood-stained and dried and torn, but a long white doctor's coat, torn trousers, the chest, the shirt is kind of torn open. And what you're seeing is, within that mess of clothes and blood, you're seeing that the flesh has been torn. It has been pulled apart, but it's been put back together. It's been sewn back together. There is one significant stitch that reaches from just below the right side of the rib cage all the way up across the chest, around the neck, and then over, breaking over one of the lips, which is leaking this darker than usual pus of blood, and then over the top lip and across the face. The individual lies on the floor. Still,
he's on the floor.
Lying on the floor in the pool
He's
of
not
blood.
in a bed.
Not in a bed. On the floor. There is no bed behind this curtain. And as you do, he kind of moves towards you. One of his eyes is kind of sewn shut and swollen, and the other eye kind of lands on you, Doctor. And you just get this. Did the architect send you?
No, I'm Dr. Haigler. What happened to you? Don't try and move or nothing.
Don't touch me!
Oh, all right. You contagious or something?
No! I am the architect's work.
Right. Okay. He's done a pretty poor job. If you're what you're supposed to be looking like. Are you in any pain? Where does it hurt, or does it hurt all over? Tommy, have you got that morphine, mate?
Pain. Pain.
All right. Relax. Can the doctor prep a syringe of morphine for this?
Tommy's holding one.
Tommy's just
Marvellous.
stood there with syringe and morphine, staring, wide-eyed and silent, having failed a sanity roll.
Yeah, and I was just double checking that. So there is an absolute kind of moment of like, what is going on here? Almost clutching those too tight. You see almost a trickle of the morphine come out at the end of the needle. Can I ask you to roll me a 1d4, please, Tommy? Captain, what did you roll, please?
I rolled a success, 43 versus 60.
Okay, so you have seen trauma. I mean, this is excessive. This is excessive. The trauma to the body that you've seen in war isn't this. This is some horrific manipulation of flesh. What you've seen is obviously the devastation and destruction of flesh. But you are able to hold it together. There is a deep breath. There is a stilled moment. There is a shiver down your spine.
And I rolled 1 for a sanity loss.
So you lose 1 sanity. And the doctor is able to, if he would like, to take the syringe from your hand in that moment of frozen shock. Doctor, tell me what you do.
Okay, the doctor assesses the patient is in considerable pain. He preps a good amount of morphine, not too much of a dose, but enough that if you have this kind of injury, he's seen what these newfangled automobiles can do to people if they drive at excessive speed. So he's treating this as a very serious case of pain, and he's going to try and inject good amount of morphine to relieve that sort of pain, maybe bring some calmness to this individual because they're presenting with extreme pain, lots of pain.
Yeah,
Just
lots
trying to
of
take
pain,
that away.
absolutely racked with pain. As you go forward,
Trying to be calm and comforting.
Can I ask which arm you attempt to put the syringe in? When you attempt to
Usually
find a needle?
it would not be the left arm, writing hand, so it'd be in the left arm.
Okay. So you lean over and you go to take the left arm to find a syringe, and you find something rather unusual, Doctor. You find that the left arm, you're not able to pull it up to a comfortable position to tap a vein and find an entry point for your needle, because the arm is sewn into the torso. And it even looks like that the lower half of the arm didn't originally belong to this person. The lower half of the arm apparently belonged to somebody else.
Okay.
And as you lean in to deliver this morphine, the individual is able to push himself up just slightly and speaks in your ear and says, "The pain, the pain, it's a gift. I was tainted, but this will make me pure. The architect said, and he seems to be getting quite wound up at this moment.
Okay.
We're going to jump just quickly to D.I. Martin Wells outside, and Eleanor, who seems to be standing near. D.I. Martin Wells, you approach the warden, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Eleanor, you're going with?
Still holding the painting.
Still holding the painting. The warden looks and sees the painting, and you can just see there's a moment of confusion in his eyes. And if anything, it makes him even more angry. And he kind of limps. He's got a bit of a limp, you've noticed now, and he kind of limps over to you. And then as he gets over to you, D.I. Martin, he comes right up to your face, just says, "You were supposed to wait. There's a plan. You're ruining his plan." And he is going to pick you up, and he is going to throw you.
Okay.
Is this something you'd like to contest?
Get out of the way, dodge it.
Do you want to comply happily and see how far he can throw you?
I'm gonna go. Cheers.
Yeah. Always wanted to fly.
I'm gonna try and hold on to his arms and try and take his arms back off me.
Oh, okay.
It's like a counter.
Yeah, I think we're going to go with a contested strength roll here. Yeah, it's not really a brawl in this moment. It's not really a fight. It's more of this is a show of strength, okay?
Yeah, show of strength. Right.
I mean, what did you get?
Oh, wait, I haven't rolled yet.
Click your strength.
Oh,
And Eleanor, I'm going to ask you what you're doing in this moment as well, please.
go on,
Um,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh, what did you get? What did you
go.
get?
I got an extreme success.
Oh, what were the numbers?
A 4 versus a 55.
Wow. Okay, that is slightly more impressive than mine. Okay,
Nice.
okay. I'll reveal that in a moment. Eleanor, what are you doing in this moment?
Eleanor is still trying to follow her hunch. So she's like, okay, this man who is also a dog is clearly in on this, possibly the one who destroyed the thing. I'm going to have to figure out what like his weakness is. So she's going to gently put the painting down and then whistle really loudly
Okay.
to see if he like
Okay.
gets excited or something. She can't do
Okay,
very
I
much
really
right
like
now.
this. Yeah, okay, I really like this. Okay. Okay. The warden comes in, grabs D.I. Martin Wells, begins to lift him off the floor. D.I. Martin Wells does that fantastic. Oh, no, actually, D.I. Martin, you tell me what you do, please.
So when he grabs me and slightly lifts me, and I'm on my tiptoes, but he hasn't properly picked me up yet. And then I just grab his arms, and rather than just try and brutally force his arms back, it's try and push them to the side. So push him up and out like that.
Okay, his arms come off to the side.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add to that, because it was an extreme success that you had in that moment as these hands grabbed you, and you immediately reacted. You know, your self-defense training, your police kind of training came in. It was grab the hands, turn them and twist them and use them in a certain way to break the level of strength there. You are also slightly distracted by this whistle, this and there's a moment where you and the warden kind of and it is a moment that allows you to, you take advantage of this moment and the arms go back. After that, the warden's going to smack his arms down and almost kind of releasing between the two of you. And this is when it gets slightly bizarre for Eleanor and D.I. Martin Wells, and they join this sense of bizarreness the others are witnessing. You see the warden kind of rotate his head and you hear almighty clicks and clacks. It sounds things are popping and snapping as he does so. And you kind of see these shoulders just kind of break out as well, and the arms kind of reach out and they almost kind of extend beyond what they probably should. But the unusual thing you're seeing here is that the bend of the elbow is just the first. There is another bend of an elbow as the arms are elongated, and then you see that the warden actually has these jagged kind of claws that are beginning to rip through the hands that are beneath, as if they are medical gloves that have been put on too tight and the fingers are protruding from beneath. And as these claws are there, you then see the warden just kind of look at you, and his eyes take this yellow tint, D.I. Martin Wells, and he kind of looks at you and kind of smiles, and you see these teeth bared. Martin Wells, what is it that you do in this moment except request another pair of pants?
I'm obviously shocked by what I've just seen, so I don't know. Do I need a sanity roll, in something like this?
I think it's going to be happening within the next few seconds.
Yeah,
but I'm going to give you there, because you've had this interaction, I'm going to give you a moment to try and do something first.
I think I just keep stepping back, just slowly, not reacting like really rashly, not like sprinting out or anything. Just stepping slowly backwards as this is going on, just backing up.
Okay. Eleanor, is there anything you're doing in this moment?
Eleanor feels like she should be happy that she called it, but she's not really very happy about it. If she has a moment to keep being her weird self, she has one more dog-related thing lined up that she'd like to try.
Is it a treat?
No,
That's why there's no biscuits. See?
Yeah.
I want to see if there's anything that I can lift easily nearby that I can throw behind him in a kind of like fetch-like motion.
You
Too much
are
dog soldiers.
Yeah, absolutely. You are standing in quite an empty corridor, and it's an empty corridor on purpose because of it being a prison. There's not much around for prisoners to do exactly what you're trying to do. You have the painting, and you have any personal belongings on you.
Okay, so I have my notepad and my pencil and my necklace.
Shinies. Jingle the keys.
Jingle, jingle. The keys to my house. Goodness, is it time to no. I think I'm gonna rip some paper off my notebook and crumple it up and just throw it like a ball, and go like.
Okay, could you give me a throw roll, please?
She doesn't have any throw, so that'll be fun. She's gonna throw it right in his face.
There's one last thing, depending on how it goes, that I want to do in this moment before we jump back to Tommy, Doctor, and Captain.
Oh, that's unexpected.
Okay. What did you roll?
60 over 20.
Okay, you ball up your piece of paper because you're carrying this hefty painting. You throw it, and it hits him in the face, and he's just there like. But seeing that that's what you brought to this moment of conflict, the warden is going to jump at D.I. Martin Wells.
I'm sorry about that.
You're allowed to make a dodge roll, D.I. Martin Wells.
Right, okay. Bear with me.
Good luck.
Good luck.
What did you get?
I got an 86 versus a 30.
Oh no.
The warden
Quite the failure.
not only jumps at you, but he jumps on you and he knocks you to the ground and you slide a good 8 feet. The impact of hitting the ground itself, the cold, hard cement floor as your head smacks off the ground and then you slide across it is enough. Could you roll 1d4 and deduct that from your hit points, please?
Yeah.
A very large, aggressive object has just slammed you into the floor and dragged you.
I got 1.
Okay, so you lose 1 hit point by slamming into the floor and being dragged across the floor. Doctor, Tommy, Captain, you might well have seen the warden sliding across the floor on top of D.I. Martin Wells. You may have heard the conflict and the growl. I'll allow you to react to that in a second.
Can I scream help as this happens?
You absolutely can scream help. And as you scream help, you hear a voice from upstairs actually just going, "Oh, shit, Henry, I need it now. Where did you put it?" And there's like a real sense of desperation from upstairs. Something's going on. At which point, the warden is going to use those claws and try to acquaint them with your internal organs. D.I. Martin Wells.
Okay. What should I roll?
It might not be enough.
You probably want to fight back if your fight is 55 and your dodge is 30.
You could have a dodge roll here. You could have a brawl roll here. If you've got anything else you'd like to fight back with, you're very welcome to do so. If you don't dodge, I will give you a freebie. The warden has had a success of a certain degree.
I'll check out a brawl roll.
Okay.
Fun.
Okay.
Oh.
And how did you do? It sounds positive.
That's a 71 versus a 25.
I thought you had 55. That was strength. Oh no, that was bad advice.
Okay. Essentially, that was bad advice. Okay, you've got this horrible monster on top of you. What's your lowest skill? Go for it. You've got the warden's on top of you, and this no longer resembles the warden. There's sloughs of flesh being pushed around. It's almost as if this whatever is there that is the visual representation of this person isn't it anymore. His arm comes up to attack into you, and unfortunately that's the same arm that you used to try and punch, but because his double jointed elbowed arm is there, you can't land your punch. You just land on the forearm. If anything, you add a sense of drive to this hand, which drives and D.I. Martin Wells pierces your chest, roughly below your rib cage, where your diaphragm is, in that lovely soft area. And you feel as those cold, sharp hands, fingers of the hands, dive into your chest. You feel a tightness. And it's because the hand inside is clenching. I'm going to give you one last opportunity to do something before I ask you to roll something significant.
Can I try to help?
Yeah.
I have one more idea.
I'll tell you what, you both get your one idea and let's see what happens.
Right.
This is when Eleanor shouts walkies.
I don't know. I could potentially. I'm gonna go for something like try and get a finger to an eye.
Yeah.
So I could just kind of like just knock him a little bit off of what he's doing, because I don't think in terms of where his hand is, there's no point in me trying to pull that back out. So I think would that be something like a dexterity roll?
Oh, I see. You're playing for something that's not brawl here. I see what you're doing. Okay, I'll tell you what. Considering you currently have someone's hand inside your chest cavity, yeah. Okay, let's have it. Let's have a
just a standard dexterity roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spin a luck.
What did you get?
Spin a luck.
I got 46 over 45.
Oh, so you can use luck here. You can use one luck. Yeah. Or you could push the roll, and then something dire will happen. I'm just saying.
I think I might use my luck.
Oh, okay. Just that one luck.
Surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you use that one luck, and what you're able to do is you are able to jam, two fingers quite significantly into the left eye, and you feel a pop. I'm going to have you roll for this one, for the damage on the warden here with the eye. Could you give me a D10 roll, please?
D10. A 1.
Wow.
Oh.
You pull your fingers out in this moment, and you just see the empty socket, and just black just dribble down. You don't see a flinch of pain. If anything, you see the warden just smile and get close, so his hot breath is on your face, and you see his sharp teeth. I'm now going to need you to roll, before we do anything else, for the damage that's done to you with the hand inside your chest cavity.
Aww.
Okay.
Did I not get a chance to help? That's bad.
Oh, sorry, Eleanor. What was there was something you did say, didn't you? Okay, yeah, I did say I'm a man of my word. Please, what would you like to do?
I have a sharp pencil. I'd like to stick it in his neck while he's not able to move away because he's not paying attention.
The warden's neck, or
the warden's
neck? Okay.
Because he's not trying to evade or anything because he hasn't seen me. Can I use dexterity as well?
Okay, I see what you guys are doing here. Okay, I'll tell you what, you can either use brawl with a bonus, or you can use dexterity, because I'm liking the creativity here.
Dexterity is my best skill, so if I fail, I'll be very angry. Let's go.
Hey!
What did we get? How much of a success?
44 out of 70. So normal success, but it's good enough for me.
Okay. So what happens is Eleanor, you run up, favorite pencil drawn. You run up and you drive it, and because of the success, it actually goes right into the side of the neck, almost kind of hitting the jugular. And you see the nib of the pencil actually poking out the front as well. And you see the warden kind of move with that, and as he does, the flesh doesn't actually feel that strong. And as the warden kind of like pulls back and stands up, you notice two things. One is that the pencil basically tore the flesh, almost like wet toilet paper. There was no solidity to the flesh there, the skin. Two, depends on this. D.I. Martin Wells, could you give me a D12 roll, please?
8.
And how many hit points do you have remaining, consider you banged your head earlier and lost one?
Where do I see that on my character sheet on Roll20?
Should be towards the top.
Oh yeah, I've got. Well, I've got 11 to start with. I lost 1, so I've got a good solid 2 left.
Okay, so essentially what happens is the warden kind of stands up, and as he does, Eleanor notices that some of your entrails are still in his hand. And we're just going to jump to the other guys for a moment. And then there's going to be a moment where I just jump back to you guys. So let's just have let's go over to Tommy, Doctor, Captain. You're in the room. Doctor, you're over the. I was tainted, but the architect is cleansing me. And Tommy, you're seeing that, you're in shock, you're in fear, but you're also hearing a hell of a scuffle going outside. Captain, you're kind of standing in the doorway of this. You're seeing the curtain was whipped back. You are drawn into that. You've seen that. But at the same time, you've just seen D.I. Martin Wells knocked to the floor. You've heard some dog whistling. You've then seen the warden jump on top of D.I. Martin Wells. And you've now seen Eleanor stab the warden with a pencil. Please tell me, what is it that you three do?
I would like to run to help. There was a scream for help, so I'd like to run for help. And depending on what I can or cannot do, I would like to barrel into the warden. Are we on the ground floor or are we on a balcony?
Yes,
Right.
This is still the ground floor. The gantry is above you. There's a staircase at the far end where the warden came from.
I would like to barrel, if I'm allowed, into the warden, dragging him away from D.I. Wells.
Okay. Let's have you running out there and giving us a brawl roll then, please.
Okay. The brawl is a success, 49 on 75.
Okay, ideal. Okay, just as you're running out then and your shoulder drops and you go down, this is something that Tommy can do well. You shoulder into the warden. We'll pause. Captain, what are you doing?
I believe this counts as utmost need, don't you think, Doctor? And
Doctor is paying attention, but he probably would be saying, I think it is time for that firearm, Captain.
And he will draw his firearm and he will follow on quickly after Mr. Slugger.
Okay, so I'll say with the drawn firearm and following Tommy outside, the fact that you've drawn it and you're following him, but he's doing this barrel roll, I'm assuming you'll aim it, so I'll be able to give you a bonus die on when you do fire, so that you're able to take a moment to aim the weapon as well. Doctor, are you staying with your patient?
He certainly is, yeah. He's trying to inject that morphine to alleviate the pain. Also, can he do a psychology roll to see if he can calm the patient?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is an extreme success, 5 versus 35.
Okay, so you recognise the absolute lost mind here, and as you find a vein, you inject the morphine. And what is it that you say to calm the patient?
He's trying to maintain good contact with the person's sense of themselves. At the moment, they seem to be thinking themselves as something, a creation of the architect or something like that. And so he's going to say, look, my name's Dr. Haigler. You're in a bit of trouble, I'll have to admit, but look, stay with me. What's your name? Tell me who you are. What are you doing here? You know, really trying to just draw out, trying to take his mind off what he's going through as he lets that morphine seep in.
You see his eyes kind of, the irises kind of, peel open, and you just hear I'm Dr. Clesham. And his breathing is still hard, it's still torn, but it becomes slower, more controlled. Tommy, you barrel into the warden. Am
I able to, seeing the captain raise the pistol, am I able to barrel into the warden and knock him clear of D.I. Wells and to give a clear shot?
You can certainly try. What was your roll? Please remind me.
It was 49 on 75, a regular success.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to say you're able to knock him. You're able to kind of sidestep. The warden kind of turns there. You see these elongated arms, multiple elbow joints, teeth, yellow eyes, claws, and turns around to you and basically like faces at kind of Tommy, Captain, D.I. Martin's on the floor. Eleanor is kind of to the side. Captain, I believe you are aimed, armed, and ready.
I am indeed, and it's quite clear that this man is not going man/thing/dog/whatever, that he's not going to stand down. So yes, Captain's going to fire on him.
Okay, please make a handgun roll, please.
Extreme success, 7 versus 70. Boom, headshot.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay. And what would the damage on that be?
That would be... that is a 1d8,
1d8.
which I will now roll. Oh, only a 1. Oh, come on. This is not our night, is it, for the dice?
Don't forget the impale, though. That is 8 plus 1.
That is.
Well, in that case, that's a 2.
That's a 2.
Which
Thank
is
you
still
very
not
much.
hugely
8
impressive,
plus 1
sadly.
Is 9.
9.
Oh, but I rolled a d8, so...
With the impale, with the extreme success, it's the full value of damage plus 1. Is that correct?
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Fabulous. Well, that's
So
all right
damage
then.
It
Well,
is.
hey.
It
Damage
is a
value plus the
fantastic
dice roll.
Oh,
So,
brilliant.
You reveal something even more disgusting. You pull your gun, you aim your handgun, you aim it at his head. Tommy has set him up perfectly, and he turns to you with his one yellow eye remaining, like that, and you fire. But as you fire, the bullet, the other eye pops. Something at the back pops. You hear a ting off the wall behind. The warden, with no eyes, runs at the group of you, but stops before he gets to you. With an incredible speed, everybody get ready to say "ah." He grabs the left leg of D.I. Martin Wells. And he runs at full speed to the door that he came from, dragging Martin Wells across the floor, going, well, what are you doing, Martin Wells, in this moment where you're being dragged across the floor?
Are you still conscious?
I think I'm gone at this point. I'm not. I just pulled his hand out of my chest. I think I'm unconscious.
Hopefully.
And you see this trail of blood. I'm going to ask those of you that witnessed that, you are going to need to make a sanity roll for me, please.
Fail.
I failed, and if I lose 4 more sanity, I'm indefinitely insane. Not that yeah.
You couldn't tell the difference really with Eleanor, though, surely.
Yeah, exactly. She started with 40. So,
Oh, not bad. 55 versus 60.
Okay.
So a narrow pass, but a pass nonetheless.
You've again. I mean, this is nothing you've seen before, but because you have seen the horrors, this is something you are able to withstand. Tommy and Eleanor, a 1d4, please.
3.
3 away from your sanity, and Eleanor.
1. I live.
Oof. Live to contemplate another day.
Yeah.
And in this moment, the last thing you see is the scream in this moment is D.I. Martin Wells' body. His arms, his body's pulled at this rapid speed. You see his arms flung up behind him because of the speed, and just his body kind of almost leaving a wiggle, just matching the kind of the line as he's kind of dragged along. And the warden doesn't run. It's almost as if he's kind of using one hand and 2 feet to kind of move down. Gets to the door. You almost kind of see him throw D.I. Martin Wells' body through the open door. He goes through and then slams the door behind him.
Do I still get to roll my 2 damage?
Thank you for joining us for Act 2 of The Prisoner's Dilemma by myself, T A Newman. Find out more on our website, www.miskatonicplayhouse.com, and find us on the social media platforms with links found in the show notes. Until next time, when the curtain rises again.